These are the most important sneaker releases in June 2025 that you need to know about. This is Sit or Sell. Let's start off the month with a couple pairs of sneakers that may or may not release in June, but I wanted to cover them just in case they did. And the shoes that I'm talking about are the upcoming Justin Bieber Skylark pairs. Now, the only reason I'm talking about these now and not when they have an actual release date is because I do think that there is a good shot that these release sometime in June, because he's been teasing them like crazy for the last couple weeks. And usually an artist or a brand doesn't start teasing things like this until a release is imminent, so it's very possible they could shock drop randomly. And I have no idea when or where. It's probably gonna be on Skylark's website when they drop, if they drop anytime soon, so we'll have to wait and see. But since we don't know the release date or the price for any of these pairs, let's talk about what some of them look like. And the first pair that we're gonna talk about are these upcoming slides that definitely bear a passing resemblance to Yeezy slides, except are 10 times chunkier. So these slides seem like they have some sort of foam base or foam structure that's covered in some cases, suede, which gives it a very interesting and unique, almost furry look. I cannot wait to see these pairs on feet. I'm actually really into them. I think they're crazy and they're different, and that's what I love about them. And I would love to be able to get a pair to review for you guys, but I have no idea when this release is gonna be. So who knows if I can get one. But hey, they're unique, they're different, and they're Biebers, and people love Biebers, so they're probably gonna sell like crazy. Next up, we've got more of a traditional looking sneaker that comes in mesh with, I guess, TPU overlays. There are also different samples of this shoe that feature different materials, but it seems like that version is the one that's actually gonna release. Who knows which iteration of this shoe is gonna drop, but either way, I like the bones of the design. I think it's a very clean looking shoe, and I will definitely be trying to grab a pair for myself. Next up, there also seems to be some sort of moccasin style shoe that comes with like a suede or fabric upper with a foam base, or I guess footbed. It looks cool. I really love moccasins, and I think it's a unique pair of moccasins, to say the least. It reminds me a lot, actually, it's not that unique, so it reminds me a lot of this pair of Nikes that I keep seeing in the Nike outlet, but either way, it's a pair of Biebers, so the hype is gonna be way higher than that Nike pair. And I'm still interested in grabbing this pair, even though it's, I guess, pretty similar to that Nike mock. Again, no release date, no price point. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And then finally, Justin Bieber has been teasing a 3D printed pair, presumably from Zellerfeld. In fact, definitely from Zellerfeld based on the print pattern of the shoe. The upper comes with that really sort of soft checkerboard mesh, which I love from Zellerfeld shoes. And then the midsole of the sneaker is probably a bit stiffer, because that's usually what they do. They make the midsole a bit stiffer. And it looks like the design language on the midsole of the shoe is the same sort of ridges and shape and form that you've got on the mocks that we just talked about. So it's absolutely a Justin Bieber Skylark 3D printed shoe. It's not some like random 3D printed pair that he's wearing. But again, who knows when this pair is dropping? I have no idea. I've reached out to Zellerfeld and they didn't tell me anything, because they probably can't. So I don't know anything. Why are you listening to me? Why are you watching this video? I don't know. Of course, when any of these pairs officially release, I'm certain that they will sell out, especially because sneakerheads and Bieber fans alike will be trying to grab them. My sister-in-law is a huge Bieber fan, and she also likes sneakers, but she's not really a sneakerhead, but she knows about all of these pairs already. Like, she was telling me stuff about these pairs. So there is a much wider audience for these pairs than there is for regular sneaker releases, and because of that, I think all these pairs are gonna be instant sales. Although Zellerfeld couldn't give me any information on the new Skylark pair that they're probably working on, or give me any samples of it, they did send me a sample of an upcoming pair that they're working on with a different brand called Apothecary? I think it's Apothecary. This 3D printed moccasin style shoe looks like it's coming in 4 different colorways. You've got blue, you've got black, there's a cream, there's an orange. After rocking the shoe for a while, I've got to say it's crazy comfortable underfoot because of this sort of foam-like 3D printed material. I mean, it's a wild experience. Like, you wouldn't think a 3D printed shoe would be this comfy, but it is. And whoever the guys at Apothecary are absolutely knocked the design out of the park. I think it's incredible. Shout out to them. They must be just really cool guys. There's no release date set on these yet. Hopefully they're gonna drop sometime towards the end of June, beginning of July. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'll have to talk to my sources at Apothecary. I'm not totally sure. Really quick, if you haven't yet entered my giveaway for the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Navies, make sure to do that by collecting the second core badge linked in the top of the description below. There are 4 core badges and then a 5th badge that you can redeem once you've gotten all 4 core badges. The first 2 are live right now, and the other 2 will be coming in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. I love Core. I've got an amazing community of people over there. They are the best, and I just love the platform. So check it out if you haven't yet, and redeem that second core badge linked right there. Plus, we give away a lot of stuff on Core. I've given away Travis's. Last month we gave away the Union LA Air Jordan 1s, and now we're giving away the Nike SB Air Jordan 4s, so check it out. But moving on to the official sit or sell list, starting things off on June 1st, we've got the Puma Speedcat Plus. This $110 pair is bringing back that motorsport DNA straight from Puma's archives. It's sleek, it's low to the ground, and it gives off serious F1 vibes. Now, the OG Speedcat has definitely seen a resurgence recently. People have been calling it the next Samba. I'm not convinced. And I'm also not convinced that this Plus version is gonna follow that same trajectory. The Plus is a bit chunkier, it swaps out the suede for mesh and leather, and it kind of strays from that clean, minimal aesthetic that made the original so popular. The Plus is dropping in 2 different loud colorways. You've got bright red and neon green, and while that might turn heads, I'm not totally sure if this pair is going to move units like the original. That being said, that could all change if this pair gets a surprise cosign or suddenly picks up major lifestyle traction. In my opinion, this pair is going to sit. Also dropping on the same day, we've got the Nike Kobe 5 Protro Indiana Fever. So this pair of Kobe 5 Protros is actually not a retro colorway. Instead, it's inspired by the Indiana Fever. As a lot of you know, that's the WNBA squad that just picked up Caitlin Clark last year. Now the shoe comes dressed in a dark blue upper with yellow and crimson hits, matching of course the team's colorways and giving off a clean but bold vibe. Now while I have this pair dropping on June 1st, release dates have been all over the place. Some say June 1st, others say June 30th. So it's a little unclear as to when this pair is actually dropping, but what is clear is that in my opinion the shoe is gonna sell. And I mean, look at all the previous Kobe Protros that have dropped over the last year. If it's not a low top and not a mass-produced pair of sneakers, it tends not to sit, especially when there's a strong story or player connection behind them. So whenever this pair ends up dropping, don't sleep, this pair is gonna move. Moving on to June 4th, we've got the New Balance 2002R Protection Pack in the Phantom colorway. The 2002R Protection Pack was massive in 2022 and 2023, but New Balance might have overdone it. This shoe comes in a dark gray suede upper and like the original pack features jagged edges on the upper paneling. I mean, this Phantom colorway is clean, sure, but with so many 2002Rs being released over the last couple years, this release does not feel urgent. Now it's dropping for $150 and I expect these pairs to sit. Also dropping on the 4th is the New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel V5 in Urgent Red. Last year, I fell in love with the Fuel Cell Rebel V4. It's one of my personal favorite running shoes of all time and it's wildly comfortable. The V5 looks to be an iterative improvement on the V4 with an updated design and possibly updated materials, but we're gonna have to wait and see until we get it in hand. This first colorway comes in bright crimson red, which is fine, but not my favorite for a pair of running sneakers, and it's accented by black. It's bright, bold, presumably very comfortable, and surprisingly hyped for a running shoe. Coming in at $140, since it's the first colorway of a new silhouette, I do think that there is a shot that this pair sells out, but we'll have to wait and see. It'll probably get restocked, so I don't really want to give it a sell, but I'm going to, but honestly, we'll have to wait and see. It could sit, I don't know. Moving on to June 5th, we've got Haley Wilson's Nike SB Dunk Low. This $135 pair of Nike SB Dunk Lows has some people talking. For those of you who don't know, Haley Wilson is a rising star in the skate scene, and she's been building a solid name, not just for her skills on the board, but also her influence in the streetwear and sneaker culture. The collab itself is incredibly clean. It comes in black, white, purple, and teal, and it looks like a majority of the materials used on the upper is suede or nubuck. It's one of those SBs that feels wearable and somewhat low-key, but still special enough to stand out. And of course, as you guys know, when it comes to SB Dunks, especially collabs, demand is usually pretty high. You don't always need a big name like Travis or Concepts behind it. Sometimes they just move. And with Haley Wilson becoming more visible in both the skate and sneaker worlds, that's just gonna push this release even further. As we usually see with more limited Nike SB Dunk drops, I wouldn't be surprised if this pair releases first in skate shops. That could be what this date is. They don't really ever make it clear whether this date is like the skate shop release or the sneakers release, but usually what happens is it drops in skate shops first and then on the sneakers app like a couple weeks later. But either way, no matter where it drops, I would not be surprised if this pair ends up selling out. Also dropping on June 5th is the Nike Air Max Sunder in black and photo blue. So last year, or maybe the year before when the Air Max Sunder was brought back, it was a pair that was very popular initially, and now Nike is doing what they do and just pumping out a bunch of colorways of this shoe and kind of killing off the hype. But hey, I'm okay with it. It was never really a pair that I was that excited about, and usually, you know, when Nike kills off the hype, you can get pairs for a lot cheaper. So maybe now is my time to actually grab a pair to try. This colorway comes in what seems like a blue camo look with blue and lighter blue accented by black overlays, and then of course cream is used on the midsole. The shoe is not bad. I actually don't mind the way it looks. Is it a pair that I'm trying to pick up? No, and definitely not for the $190 retail price. Whew, that's surprisingly high for what it is. I'm good on it. I think a lot of people will be too, so I'm giving this shoe a sit. Moving on to June 6th, we've got the Nike Air Max 270 MLB City Connect pack. Nike's collaborating with a few MLB teams to drop the MLB Air Max 270 City Connect pack. And apparently the 9 teams that are part of this pack have been part of Nike City Connect packs in the past. Now, I'm not too familiar with that. The Phillies are not one of the teams. The Orioles are also not one of the teams, the 2 teams that I'm very loosely familiar with. I just don't know anything about baseball. I'm not the right person to ask. But hey, you're getting 9 different baseball-inspired 270s. And look, I get it. Sports-inspired Air Maxes kind of make sense. But the 270 hasn't really been hyped for a while, and the MLB tie-in is cool if you're a baseball fan. But otherwise, like myself, I think they're gonna sit. Casual wearers probably want newer silhouettes, newer than the 270 at least. I know it was very popular a couple years ago, but for the full $160 retail price, I think I'm good on them. I think these pairs will sell to fans of those specific teams, but I think that's about it. So because of that, I'm giving the entire pack a sit. I mean, this isn't the first time that Nike's done this. I know I'm still rambling on about this whole like collab tie-in thing or whatever it is, but Nike did the Pegasus pack with all the NFL teams, and as big of a fan of the Ravens as I am, and as big of a sneakerhead as I am, I just didn't feel like I needed to buy a Pegasus 41 with the Ravens logo on it. I thought about it, but I didn't end up really wanting to do it, and I feel like that's gonna be the case for even fans of these teams. I just don't know if the hype is gonna be there for these. So again, sit. Next Next up, on June 7th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 11 Low Igloo. This women's Air Jordan 11 Low, as the name would suggest, comes in white and igloo green. I guess igloo is not specifically a green, but in this case, I could see it's sort of an icy green. It's a relatively clean and simple look, but unfortunately, it comes in at that new retail price of $195, which is insane for a women's pair of 11s. Based on what we've seen over the last few years, it really seems like 11s don't sell unless they're either super limited, like the Derek Jeters, or an OG colorway, like maybe the Breads. And this pair is neither, so I have a feeling that it's probably gonna end up sitting. Rounding off June 7th, we've got the Amomaniere Air Jordan 5 Violet Ore. This $225 pair is another example of Amomaniere doing what they do best, taking a classic silhouette and giving it that premium storytelling-driven treatment. Making up the shoe, you've got a crisp white leather upper, you've got deep burgundy hits, or I guess violet ore hits on the midsole, lining, and tongue, plus all the signature details like the embroidered 23, the quilted lining, the translucent lace locks, even Amomaniere's monogramming on the netting, which I think is sick. Like the other Amomaniere collaborations, it's luxury from top to bottom, and it comes in at a standard Air Jordan 5 price point, which I'm happy about. They could have charged a lot more, but they didn't, which is awesome. Well, I guess they knew if they did, they probably wouldn't sell them, so that makes sense. 2025 is the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, so it's no surprise that we're getting collaborations on the silhouette. We've also been getting a bunch of great Air Jordan 5s this year, like the Reimagined 5s, we're getting the Grape 5s, which we'll talk about in a second. We're also getting the Tokyo 5s. This year's been great for 5s, and because of that, the hype on 5s is pretty high. I'd say it's a 5 out of 5. But with that being said, will it sell out? Well, it's not totally clear. Although the first few pairs of Amomaniere Jordans were huge successes years ago, the pairs that have released over the past 2 years didn't really reach the same hype levels. Now, this pair is not as iconic as the 3s, and we've already had 5s released, so it's not like a new collab on a new silhouette, but I think there is some hype behind it. And we saw with the 3s that released earlier this year, those sold out, a pair that people didn't really think would sell out, and they're kind of reselling. Not for a lot, but they're reselling for something. So I do think that there is a chance that this pair of pretty clean 5s, like I love this pair, I'm definitely gonna be trying to grab a pair for myself. I think this pair could sell out, especially with 5s being as hot as they are right now. I think the Reimagined 5s are like the best reselling or most resold pair of Air Jordans or just sneakers in general of 2025, which is kind of crazy. So if you want to check out the resale price of this pair before it drops, or any of the other pairs that we talk about in today's video, make sure to check them all out through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. You can also check out the resale price of those 5s, the Reimagined 5s too, because they're moving and they're not cheap. Dropping on June 11th is the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari. We have finally got the return of a serious fan favorite, the Air Jordan 14 Ferrari. Now I know 14s don't always get the same love that other retros get, but when it comes to this colorway, it's kind of a different story. You've got that bright varsity red suede upper, super clean black accents, and of course the carbon fiber hits on the midsole that tie the whole Ferrari inspiration together. Now this colorway originally dropped back in 2014 and was one of the most premium feeling 14s that we'd ever seen at the time. And since then, it's only gotten more appreciated. And this is actually the first time that we're getting this shoe back since 2014, which is kind of crazy. 11 years later, it's wild. The 14 already draws from Ferrari's design language. I mean, Tinker Hatfield literally modeled the silhouette after a sports car. And this version takes that theme to the next level. From the aggressive midsole shape to the sleek upper and of course that shield style Jumpman logo that looks like the Ferrari dancing horse logo, everything about this shoe screams speed and performance. Well, at least it did when it first released, but I guess it still kind of does. Now, while not every Jordan 14 colorway flies off the shelves, the Ferrari is different. It's got the legacy, the look, and of course, the nostalgia for those people who bought this pair 11 years ago. It's crazy to say that 11 years ago has nostalgia, but it does. And the people who missed out on this pair when it released most likely have been waiting for it. At 210 bucks, it's not a cheap pair, but I do think the hype is there, and I do think this pair will probably end up selling out. Dropping on June 13th, we've got the Nike Air Foamposite 1 Triple White. Nike is pumping out foams at an alarming rate, like it's getting ridiculous, and they're not slowing down. I don't know what it is about foams. I mean, they're popular, but they're not as popular as they were back in the day. And Nike just doesn't seem to care. Like Dunks, Nike's just rolling out colorway after colorway after colorway, some being OGs, some being hyped up pairs, some being pairs that no one cares about, some being new colorways, and they're just not like really selling like that. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's just a lot that they're putting out there. And this triple white colorway is more the same. It's fine, but it's not easy to wear. Like a triple white Foamposite, that's not an easy pair to style or rock. Most likely it's priced at standard Foamposite pricing, which is like $240, $250. You'll see on your screen, whatever the price ends up being. I just don't see this pair moving at all. I think this pair will definitely sit and probably hit outlets. Also on the 13th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Low 85 K54. K54 collaborations have always been kind of hit or miss. I mean, the story behind the shoe is always solid. It's tied to the iconic Paris Streetball tournament that Jordan brand has been sponsoring for years, and the shoe usually does bring some unique design elements. This year's $160 pair sticks with that same formula, but plays it a little safe. You've got a pretty clean black and sail upper with red and green accents that nod to Pan-African colors. colors, plus you've got K branding on the tongue and on the insole, which you've probably come to know from these collaborations. It's dropping in an 85 cut too, which is kind of crazy. That means you're getting the OG shape and probably a premium build quality, which collectors appreciate. I know I appreciate it. I love the 85 cuts. Not everyone does. They're also more expensive. Here's the thing. As nice as this pair is, Jordan 1 lows in general just haven't been moving like that, unless it's like a Travis collab or something super limited, like maybe the trophy rooms. And even though the K54 name has some weight behind it, it's mostly popular in Europe. Over here in the States, it doesn't always hit the same. In fact, we don't always get these pairs releasing at our local Foot Locker. So unless you're a Jordan 1 collector, or maybe you're deep into the K54 sneaker series, I don't really see this pair flying off shelves. I mean, it's a clean pair, it's a solid concept, but overall, I think the Air Jordan 1 Low 85 K54 is probably gonna sit. I mean, it's not gonna be easy to get, but in the stores that you can grab it, I think it's probably gonna sit. Moving on to June 21st, we've got the Air Jordan 5 Grape. Like I mentioned earlier, 2025 is the 35th anniversary of the Air Jordan 5, and because of that, they're bringing a lot of the OG colorways back, like the Grapes. Now, if you're not too familiar with this shoe, you might notice that it doesn't come in the standard Chicago Bulls colors like most OG Air Jordan sneakers do. This pair actually comes in much more 90s inspired purple and teal hits, which makes it very unique, especially when compared to the other shoes that it dropped alongside. I've already dropped a full review on this shoe, so if you guys want to check that out, there will be a link at the top of the screen. But the Air Jordan 5 Grapes are probably, maybe not probably, definitely my favorite Air Jordan 5 OG colorway. I just think this shoe is amazing. What's cool about this release is that it comes in a much closer to the OG cut, specifically things like the mudguard being higher, which I really like. The upper of the shoe comes in white leather. You've got purple and teal hits throughout the sneaker, of course, on the tongue and on the midsole. It's a clean pair of Air Jordan 5s, and it's got the Nike Air branding on the heel. What more could you ask for? This pair is going to retail for the same price as most other pairs of Air Jordan 5s, $210, so it's not cheap, but it's also not overly expensive, which I like. And from what I'm hearing, there is going to be a decent amount of pairs of these available, but it's still going to be a very popular release, so don't sleep. I mean, look at all the other OG colorways that have released this year, like the White Cement 4s, or the Breads, or the Reimagined 5s. Granted, the Breads and the Reimagined 5s were a bit more limited, but the White Cement 4s, pretty widely available, still sold out. So I honestly would expect the same thing from the Grape 5s. I think this pair is definitely going to sell, and it's a pair that I might consider doubling up on. But hey, if you made it to this point in the video, let me know which one of these pairs you were looking forward to most in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.